Jim, wouldn't you agree?
Do you know what? I think it's one of the best films I've seen this year.
Entertainment value, yes. Maybe technical craft, questionable. So the film we're talking about this week is 1998's Fatal Deviation.
Yeah.
Which, does that actually mean anything, or are those just words?
I was trying to think how is the title relevant to the film? And
they don't
really don't know. Well, I suppose they go off script quite a bit.
I mean,
but yeah, it's.
I think you're crediting them. Maybe, that suggests there was a script to start with.
So, do you know what? This film is so filled with little nuggets of just pure joy.
Yeah.
There's so many to go through, but there's some lines in this film which are just incredible.
Okay, so rather than a synopsis, mate, because we'll save all of that. Rather than a synopsis, let's just say this was not only the first, but what I would say the best that I've seen Irish martial artist film featuring a member of BOYZONE. It's the best one I can think of. Jim, I mean, you feel free to,
There's James Bennett, who is described as a real life martial arts enthusiast. Now, I'm guessing he's not a professional martial artist. He's just very enthusiastic. I don't know.
I think when he shot this, he was enthusiastic. However, if you jump on IMDb, dreams do come true. So he's worked with your Jean-Claude's, he's worked with your Dolph Lundgren's, he's worked with your Steven Seagal's. So I was like, it's like Jean-Claude Van Damme moves, Steven Seagal delivery.
Yeah, but he is a very. This film is Van Damme saturated. Even the way he, like, if anybody watches a Van Damme film, you'll notice how Van Damme, when he's performing the kicks and punches, sounds like he's in more pain than if he was receiving the kicks or punches. He makes these incredible, these kind of noises. And even down to the noises this James Bennett makes in the film. Is very Van Damme-esque. The way he kicks, even the flying, spinning split kick thing is just...
And again, any excuse to fit in the splits. I mean, that's something Van Damme used to do right up until, I think, Time Cop, wasn't it? Any excuse to kind of show that he could still do the splits, he would do the splits. And again, in this, there's absolutely no need for a whole bunch of splits, but he will find ways.
He was just randomly just doing splits on the set.
Martial arts films. Jim, are you a big fan of martial arts films?
I do like martial. I'm a big Van Damme fan. I do like the odd Chuck Norris film. Steven Seagal's early work, big fan of that. But I was going to say, like, for me, I love them. I absolutely love them. But there only seems to be two types, as far as in my head, there only seems to be really kind of like two types of martial arts films overall. There's the getting revenge. You've done me wrong and I'm going to get revenge kind of movie. And then there's the tournament fight, so like, you Enter the Dragons, your Mortal Kombat, where, for some reason, a whole bunch of people have got to get together and fight in a tournament until there's one man standing, or woman, but usually one man standing. This film is amazing because it manages to combine the both of them. Really awkwardly, but still. I mean, the tournament we'll get on to like later on or whatever, but fantastic. Clearly they shot it. They had access to like a rundown castle, some lights, and a bunch of inbred people, and they decided, let's go do this. Yeah, it was like a Celtic kumite with like haystacks to kind of outline the ring or the arena where they're going to fight. And I loved how Irish their names were. Warriors, are you ready? Fitzpatrick O'Shea. It's just like to the death.
It was, and the audience, I mean, this might be more of a 90s thing or whatever, but the audience just felt like it was like what if the League of Gentlemen did a martial arts film? Because it was just like, but they were into it, man. They were, go on.
A lot of those great close-ups of crowd, enthusiasm. But I was also taken back by the level of stunts in the film. They didn't skimp it. Well, I mean, obviously there wasn't a lot of money, but some ballsy kind of hard target, balancing on a bike while shooting a gun, John Woo style kind of stuff.
Car
Some
flipping,
flipping of cars,
which according to IMDb was not intentional. And actually, did you watch the bloopers at the end?
I did, yeah.
So great, like loads of Jackie Chan films, they include bloopers at the end.
Which is brilliant.
This bloopers at the end just makes me like happy that everybody, as far as we know, survived, because some of those stunts they are, and like a lot of the times, there's one where a guy gets kicked over a wall, and they kind of just cut to him, and he's just like.
I'm not doing that. I'm not jumping. I'm not doing that again.
I'm not doing that again at all. Yeah, no, that was brilliant. No, but fair play. I suppose you can have like a kind of action film without any action, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, credit there to the guys for doing that. Any knowledge of the actual budget? Did you see anything?
I mean, I guess guys with a camcorder. What I love about it, right, is, and this is similar to the guy I know. So we know like a Welsh stunt guy who put together the first Welsh action movie. Or did he? I can't remember if he promoted it as the first Welsh action movie or the first Welsh martial arts film. Either way, fair play. He's a stunt guy. He knows his stuff. He got together, camera. He got together a bunch of other stunt guys, and he went up and made a film. And fair play to him. And this reminds me of this. Now he did it like in the mid to late 2000s. So tech-wise, I think things had come along a long way. You're able to make things look a bit better than James Bennett was back in 1998, which is, as far as I can tell, when it was released. Who knows when it was shot? I mean, some of those fashions would suggest earlier 90s. Some great hairstyles.
Also, I gotta, talking about fashion, those fucking trousers were up to his armpits. How high can your fucking trousers be? Which is very Van Damme stroke Simon Cowell kind of thing. That was brilliant. I loved as well as the the scenes takes part in like the supermarket, and it's the Londis, and that's so like British. I love that. That was fucking brilliant. Yeah.
Well, I mean, all right, let's start with it, because overall I love it. It's really entertaining. As a feature film, a well-crafted feature film, it's somewhat lacking. And I think that starts at the story level. There's no act one, so there's no setting up the characters. He says a line of dialogue, which is, my dad's dead, I'm going back home to find out what happens. That's it. That's your act one. He literally says the line in a voiceover. He walks, down a path.
Yeah,
and then
there he is.
So, your act one is one line in the first minute of the film. He's co-written it. So the stunt guy, James Bennett's co-written it. And it's like a child's understanding of how the world works. So, like, bullies, like, 3-year-olds, all right, I'll be generous, 5-year-old bullies, are now these hooligans. So they're grown men, but they act as 5-year-old bullies, running around, being a bit naughty in Londis. being a bit naughty to a lady. And then he steps in and he kicks ass, as you would.
I just love that they were just chuckling, laughing, walking around running around the shop up to antics. It was like an adult's either a special needs bus pulled up outside Londis.
And I think that follows through the film. Now, I don't think anybody in this film has special needs, but I think the way it was written was like just for a series of set pieces. It's basically, let's get from A to B to have him fighting here, have him fighting there, have a big shootout at the end. Fine, okay. But some of the things that they had like through there, so there's the bits where he's romancing the only female actor in the whole film.
Yeah.
And again, it's like, I'll take you to the fun fair because that's a thing that adults do,
Yes, yeah.
It's not really like the romance, the flirting with it. It's not really like, Cary Grant, Audrey Hepburn. It's like, I'll see you later, not if I see you first. Really?
The acting was just poor. If you're going to be really kind of critical of it. Like I said, there was a lot of fun to it, but the acting was terrible, and there was no context. There was no real kind of background to any of the characters. I mean, they potentially
Well,
could have.
there was the flashback to the dad being very
the
slow motion
terrible-
killed by an old man with a sword.
That was hilarious. I like even in the bloopers, you can see how slow he's going with it.
I mean, to be fair, I would want if it was me kneeling down with an old man with a sword, I'd want him to go even slower.
Or reverse it, innit? Do the reverse thing, yeah.
That's it, Jim. That's it, yeah.
But do I liked it, or what I found frustrating but also funny about the film is how many times he asked the monk about his father.
Yeah.
And it's like, just fucking tell him. No, we need to go to the woods now and light a fire and sit around it.
I mean, let's just elaborate on the monk. So there's a bunch of monks in Ireland who are sometimes Obi-Wan, sometimes Yoda, basically, right?
Yeah.
So there's training montages. So you have these Obi, and they speak in riddles. And although there's no reason why he should talk like Yoda, he talks like Yoda with an Irish accent. Yeah, I think that's pretty fair to say. He's mysterious. He never gives a straight answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Always expect the unexpected. I think he
throws
often say
throws a bucket of water on him, and then says, "Put these on." And they're short shorts. They're like torn short shorts. And again, I'm like,
kickboxer. Yeah, there was a lot of kickboxer references in that as well. When I noticed when he got the torches, the fire torches, and he's doing all very, very kickboxer stuff. And I thought, it was clearly James Bennett and co just sat down, watched a fuckload of Van Damme films, and went, "Oh, let's do that. Oh, let's do that. Oh, let's do that."
So the bits where they actually light it. You can see the who's playing the monk, is looking at the camera as in, do you really want me to do this? As in, like, I think I might kill somebody.
That's another thing as well. How many times they went all peep show, like some of the shots where they're literally talking to camera.
What the fuck is this?
What? You just is totally off-putting at all. You know what I mean? It's just crazy. There was no kind of attention to like eye lines and kind of breaking the fourth wall and all that kind of stuff. But
again, I think a lot of that is probably not all the actors were actually in the room at the same time. So as a cheat, they were like, just look at the camera, play the dialogue to the camera because we don't know what they're going to be. I mean, especially with the boy from Boyzone. There are clear.
Yeah. What's his name?
Don't know. Let's call him the boy from Boyzone.
Was this? I again, my pop knowledge is shit, but was this then before Boyzone made it?
No. This was '98. I think Boyzone were. They were still big. They were big.
They must have been. The '90s. Yeah,
might have been peak Boyzone. To break it into the motion pictures.
Why? Like
he must owe him a favor.
I was going to say he must own something. I can imagine being, on, Boyzone kind of recording the new album, and then he just says, "Look," to Rowan Keating, "Look, I got to do these lines. Can you just feed me these lines, all right? I need to just do it the camera quick, and we get on with the main stuff, like the recording of our album, blah 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 blah."
There's some amazing bits where, like, the opening scene, he's lighting a cigarette, and the light is nowhere near the cigarette. And it's like, all right. But what's disturbing is, he's the best actor in the whole film. The boy from Boyzone, and that's not saying much. But I think it must be all of his experience of doing the music video. He's got to pretend like Ronan Keating or whatever. He's got some corker lines. Honestly, one like I had to. There was quite a few times in this film where I had to just rewind it and go, "Did they really say that? Is that an actual line?"
You made me look bad, and that's not good.
Poetry.
The ending was the best with the old man. The ending was the best.
Yeah.
I don't really give that away or not.
Okay, I think we can. I think this one. I don't think we got to worry about spoilers because
it's just crazy. So right at the end, he kicks everybody's ass. He saves his girlfriend, and they're having this picnic. And then next, the main bad old guy just comes from nowhere with this double-barrel gun to his head, and he's like, "I killed your father. You killed my son. Now I'm going to kill you." And he does some like kung fu move, and he gets the rifle back and he goes, "I killed your son. You killed my father. Now I'm going to kill you." He just shoots him. And then they just get up from the picnic blanket and they have a little cuddle. And it's like, oh, never mind, this old guy's brain splattered everywhere.
And again, earlier, this is the third picnic in the film, right? And
yes.
The second picnic in the film, which takes place before the amazing car chase with standing on motorbikes and all that kind of stuff. They are having a picnic by the side of the road. Yeah. And you're like,
quality. It must
Again,
be brilliant.
like a 3-year-old's idea of a date. You know, he's been to the fun fair, he's been to the Dodgems where he's nearly killed a bunch of kids. Now, let's go have a picnic by the side of the road, ignoring the car exhaust, ignoring, you know, like the chippings that would be coming off the road and, you know, landing into the Scotch egg. What the hell? I love every part of this film because I like to think there's a comic called Axe Cop where it's written by a guy's like 5-year-old son, and then he's a proper comic book artist and he draws whatever the kid writes. So it's about a cop who uses an axe. I like to think, now this isn't true, but I like to think James Bennett wrote this when he was 5, dusted it off and went, yeah, that's pretty good. Let's go shoot that.
Solid script, yeah.
Solid script, like, you know, revenge, dating, girls like you, gang, you know, like a 3-year-old's understanding of what gangsters are. And the crime bosses, like, the reason that the tournament is important to the crime bosses is through the tournament, we show strength. We run this town through this tournament. It's like, really? Yeah. That's how you show strength? And they send him a note, which is supposed to say, lose or die.
Yeah.
Jim, what does it say instead?
It says loose or die.
Loose or die.
No, loose. Yeah, loose or die. Yeah, that's what, yeah.
Again,
I cracked up when I read that.
More evidence for the fact that this was written by a 3-year-old, you know?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Loose or die. Because I read it for, what? Let's go back. What?
Yeah.
That did say loose, yeah. Crazy, I loved it. Do you know one of the funniest bits I loved is when, like, as we all know through the 80s, those martial art films, there's always a sequence where they're like kind of doing their training on like a mountain top or a hillside, and it's all very, you know, dawn or dusk or whichever. Well, they do something similar. But I loved how his special, unique way of doing this kind of martial arts almost turned into like Tom Jones and a bit of the Funky Chicken at times. He was like, you just wrong. I'm sure there was better takes of that. Like literally just a little kind of like this little wiggle thing. Like what the fuck is that?
You know what? I'm fine with it.
Beautiful though. Honestly, it was very endearing and very, very entertaining. It's a film I would, in fact, Mark, friend of mine, big horror fan, big film fan. I've been telling everyone I've seen about this film, and I was telling Mark about it yesterday, and he's going to come over tomorrow. We're going to watch it again.
Right.
It's a brilliant film. I was telling Emmett in work, who's Irish, about it, and I said, "You've got a Van Damme. Do you know you've actually got a Jean-Claude Van Damme?" He goes, "What? I don't believe it." So I have a look at this. I showed him the trailer. He's showing all his mates. He was hysterical. It's just brilliant.
The trailer you find, the only trailer I could find on YouTube looked like it was somebody else had cut it together as
the music and all that.
Yeah. I kind of wish there was a actual trailer.
Genuine.
I also typed in the web address that's at the beginning of the film. It is still martial arts, but you can't get the film through it anymore either. So I think at some point way back when, you may have been able to get it on DVD, back when DVD was a brand new thing.
Yeah, I think it says here it had a theatrical release as well at some point.
Jim, speaking as people who've had a theatrical release.
Which doesn't mean anything, really.
I mean,
somebody knows somebody, you know.
I was entertained at every time. I absolutely loved it. I think the guys didn't know how to use the camera, because there's bits where it's just like, what's happening? You know, and sometimes when it's a love scene, I was quite all right not to be able to see what was going on there, because that was quite grim. Basically, anything that took place at night, you were kind of like, what? Yeah,
what is going on there?
Yeah. Sound is questionable as well, the quality of the sound. But the overall story, simple revenge film. Yeah, and then shoehorning in this tournament, it's like ticking all the martial arts things. There are bits, there's the massive action shootout at the end, which happens because that's the thing that happens after the tournament.
Who was the cowboy guy in the bath naked?
I think he just, the whole point was he lived there, and then there was a shootout, and so it was just to kind of, oh no, you know, it was just.
I got you.
As far as I could
tell. This guy?
Yeah. It was just to see some full frontal nudity, as far as I could tell.
From guys who have made feature films, low budget as well, we understand what it takes to make a feature film. So I don't think they were experienced filmmakers or filmmakers who really understood the camera and direction and story and scripts. But I think credit where it's due, just the sheer energy and enthusiasm for the project and just getting it done aspect of it. You got to give credit to the guys for actually making a feature film, you know? So fair play to them for doing that. And why isn't this a cult classic?
I would recommend it to anybody.
It should be up there with the likes of like The Room. Do you like The Room?
Absolutely.
It's definitely up there.
Irish
with, like,
Room. It's The Room, but with more kicking. With your extensive knowledge of DVD and Blu Ray labels, who do you think would be the best Blu Ray boutique label?
Oh God!
I ask this every time. Do your homework, Jim.
I know. Well, I did have a look, actually. I don't think you go American with this because I don't think they'd really take the way. I was having a little look. You could, 101 is not a bad shout, I think. 101 films could be a good shout, I think. Yeah, you could maybe say Arrow. I don't know. Maybe.
I don't think Arrow would because it's shot on video. The shot on video.
That's the thing as well. Like the original, because that must be like.
There's a few guys out there who do put shot on video stuff out on Blu-ray. Yeah. Again, Vinegar Syndrome. They've put out some good stuff, shot on video stuff. There's a really independent label, I think called SRS Cinema. They put out a lot of shot on video horror. And they put some Asian cinema shot on video stuff out as well. I'd maybe hit those guys up, suggest, maybe they should have a look into it as well.
It'd be interesting to know how the original, print, what is that? And you probably would have to do some.
At best, it's a mini DV tape.
Yeah. You'd have to do a lot of upscaling work for that. But I think it's worth it, though. If you could do that, I think
you accept a shot on video. But
like you could literally,
you'd want all the the making of. You would want to catch up with all.
I just think there's so many one-liners that would make amazing T-shirts. Merch for this film. I would buy absolutely.
Yeah. I'd want one of those little T-shirts he's got with the thin tops, the low cut top.
Yeah, or like a picture of the monk saying "Expect the unexpected." Come on, and then do it.
You make me look bad, and that's not good.
That's not good. I love it. It's fucking brilliant.
If you think people would enjoy this and they wanted something to keep it going, what else should they check out?
Oh, fuck me. This is, we've touched upon it, loads because it is blatantly a Van Damme ripoff. So I think Kickboxer, Bloodsport, stuff like that. It had a bit of Dead Man's Shoes to it as well. A bit of that kind of coming back to town revenge, very British, gritty, but not in the same way. Dead Man's Shoes is a brilliant film.
Yeah. I would say perhaps that was Fatal Deviation was unintentionally funny, but if you're going for an intentionally funny action film, Hot Fuzz, I would say that's the same kind of thing. Walks into the outsider walks into a town or whatever and stuff like that, basically. All that kind of stuff. I'd go that.
I think also a film which is martial arts and kind of takes the piss a little. Perhaps Kung Pao.
Oh, Kung Pao. Yeah. I haven't heard of Kung Pao in about...
that years, Steve Oderkirk, whatever his name is. Good film. Definitely takes the piss out of itself and other martial arts, using actual excerpts from legit martial arts films as well, which is brilliantly done.
Actually, I've thought of one. Another kind of martial arts. I think it was actually shot on film, but 16mm film. But another grab a camera and just go off and do it. Deadbeat at Dawn. Don't know if you ever checked out that Deadbeat at Dawn. Jim Van Betten. I'll give you a lens. Definitely worth tracking down, mate. And of course, I mentioned it earlier. Kamikaze. So if you can track down the first Welsh action movie, Kamikaze, definitely worth catching up. I'd say it exceeds what Fatal Deviation set out to do, but it's the same ethos of, I know a bunch of stunt people, I've got a camera, let's go off and do something.
Let's show off. Yeah. Good. I enjoyed that. Brilliant film.
You're welcome, Jim. You're welcome. So it's your turn next.
Fuck it out.
Come on, Jim. I feel like I'm winning.
You are leading the way here. But yeah.
Actually, I'll tell you what, the only way we can judge whether we win is if a Blu-ray label actually takes us up on this and
yes,
one of the films we talk about. That's when we win. But at the moment, I've still got bragging rights, I reckon.
I wonder if we get anything for that. We should do, shouldn't we? We should.
Just prestige. We'll get a thank you in the little booklet. If you like the sound of that film, go check it out. Let us know what you think of the film. Like hunt it out. Again, Fatal Deviation, 1998. Use the Googles to find out, how you do it. And then Jim, what else can they do?
Well, if you like the video, then don't forget to like, and you want to stay tuned for more, then subscribe to the Mad Science Films channel. Like us on Facebook and Instagram too. Like Jim said, any comments, any recommendations for us to watch, your thoughts, and leave in the comment section down below. That is it.
All right. And we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.